Welcome to Sarah's Cozy Kitchen, and today we are making traditional M&M bars, and we are going to use the Holiday Blend M&Ms that I just found at the grocery store. And I am making a half a batch, so I am using a smaller pan, smaller jelly roll pan, but I am going to post the recipe for a full batch because we just can't eat an entire batch of M&M bars in our house. So I'm going to do a half a one. But I'm going to post the recipe for the full one, so just so you know that ahead of time. So we need 3/4 cup of melted butter. We need 1 cup of oatmeal. And I have the oven preheated to 350 degrees, just so you are aware of that. We need 3/4 cup of brown sugar. I have to go get my other one. Well, maybe not. Got 3/4. I'm going through recipe or food like crazy at this time of the year. And 1 cup of flour. Now I'm kind of dumping this in because it's just kind of a dumping recipe. So we need 1 cup of flour and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, we're gonna mix those together. Mix that together. Okay, this is our crust base. This is a super easy recipe. Kids love this recipe, and honestly, you can probably have them make this. It's super simple. You're kind of watching in the background. Okay, so basically this is the crust. So we're going to take 3/4 of this crust. So this is a 2-step recipe. So I've got my pan here. I'm going to take 3/4 of it. Just leave a little bit. And press it into the bottom of the jelly roll pan like this. And actually, I'm just going to use my fingers because I find it so much simpler when you're making a crust like this to use your fingers. I will wash my hands. So again, we'll just get that all spread out. And it will be thin because this is just the bottom layer. Okay, we are going to bake this for 10 minutes. And then while this is baking, we're going to make the next step. Okay, wash my hands. Do you like my retro Christmas apron? I will link it. I got it off Amazon. It's one of my actually top sellers on Amazon this week, which is actually kind of interesting. Okay, so we're going to do 10 minutes at 350. Okay, and while that's cooking, we need a saucepan. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of back and forth with the stove here. So, and then we are going to melt a half a package of caramel bits. So this package, the other half I used for my Ritz caramel turtles. This is how many ounces? 11 ounces. We need half of this for what I am making. 4 tablespoons of milk and 4 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to melt these together. Oops. And I'm using the bits. You can use regular caramels if you would like to too. 4 tablespoons of butter. And I have to go get the milk. I'm kind of like, where's Waldo? I always forget one thing every single time I make something, and today's the milk. So let me go grab that. Four tablespoons. So we're going to melt this together while the other stuff is cooking. Okay, and I'm going to grab my whisk to kind of keep that going. So we're gonna mix this together. I'm just gonna keep the camera running. I might just take some of this part out. And then I'm gonna use a small whisk. Like I said, I'm just gonna let the camera run because otherwise it gets, oops, my microphone. It gets too complicated for me to keep going with the video nonstop. I'm gonna move my microphone down there so you can hear me a little bit better. Okay, and then you're gonna need a half a package of the M&Ms for the next step too. So let's get this melted. Oops, I forgot to turn on my timer. Probably down to 8 minutes now. So today is my baking day. I have 3 recipes. Okay, after 10 minutes, I pulled this out and I'm using, like I said, a smaller jelly roll pan because I'm only making a half a batch. So we're gonna take our caramel mixture that we just made on the stove, okay? And we're gonna pour it over the top of the baked crust. So like this. So kind of pour that over. Okay, and I'm going to take just a butter knife and just slightly move it around a little bit. Now I'm gonna trying not to disrupt the crust because the crust is not completely done yet because we're gonna put it back in the oven. Okay, so basically I'm just moving some of the caramel that I just made around like that. Okay, now the fun part, adding the M&Ms. So obviously it's Christmas time. And this is a holiday baking series, so I am using the holiday blend, but because this recipe sits out on the internet for the entire life of however long I keep the channel going, anyway, so you don't have to, what I was trying to say, I had a completely memory lapse there, is that you don't need to have to use just the red and green ones. This is just because it's a holiday time. So like an Easter, you can use the pastel or, you know, like that. Okay, so you want to put half of this package in here because these are M&M bars, so we want them to be nice and pretty. I like them evenly spaced, so when you cut the bars, I'm probably getting a little too anal here. And because we all love M&Ms, I'm gonna pop one in. Okay, now we still have 3/4 of a crust of the crust. So we're going to crumble that over the top of the bars. You see what I'm doing? Use your hands. These are so fun to make. Try to make sure it's evenly spaced. Okay, and then I'm gonna lightly take my spatula and just kind of push that down in. Okay, and it's going back in the oven for another 10 minutes, and then they are done. Now, it's important to note, like I said, I'm making a smaller pan, and I'm gonna link this pan because actually this apron and this pan are one of the 2 favorite things that people love. So we're gonna go ahead and link those for you. So I'm gonna put this back in the oven 10 more minutes and I'll show you what they look like when they are done. Okay, I'm going to go pull the bars out of the oven and I wish you could smell how good these smell. All right, and this is what they look like. So it's like a caramel M&M bar. So these will go down just a little bit so you'll be able to see the M&Ms through the crust. And we'll cut them up, and I'll get the recipe posted for you because you're going to definitely want to add these to your holiday baking. So thank you for watching. If you've made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you watching all the way to the end, and like and subscribe. I hate to even say that, but it does really help my viewership on this channel. So I hope you enjoy this recipe, and see you next time.